So, for the first presentation, I would like to call upon stage Mr. Mahendra Rastagi, the President, Scenic Industries Private Limited, Getsun Power. The topic of the presentation would be energy storage solutions, opportunities and challenges ahead. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, and I hope you all had a very lovely lunch. And this is I think, one of the toughest time, for anybody to get engaged. So, but anyhow, let me just try if am able to keep you totally not only awake but with full of attention. So let me begin with climate change. The topic is on the energy storage, but how this energy storage, like this concept, they came in terms of its the potential, exploiting the potential of energy storage. Like we all know, the necessity is the mother of invention. So the situation we are able to witness on the climate change, Mother Earth is really pained to see what all is happening, and this all our the habits and the India, of course, is known for the circular economy. So we have done injustice with the nature, and all the five elements of the environment we are made of. We live in that environment. That's the real definition of the environment. Namely, we all know the water, air, earth, the space, and fire. So we have not been very fair to the environment with all these five elements. Temperature is rising, and we see its very, very adverse impact in terms of the hurricane, the storm, and untimely rains and all. And why it is happening? It's all because we all live with the greed. Instead of the consumption is need based, we have the greedy style. That we need one thing and we have the 4, 5, 6, whether it's the vehicle or whether it is the uniforms or the garments what we have. So now it's nature. Once there is a problem, then there is a solution lies. So Mother Earth has surrendered that the God Son, Father Son, please come to my rescue. And this is where the sun with the solar energy and all is coming to the rescue of Mother. And this is where the concept of the renewable energy, be it the solar, the wind or hydro. So now in the environment, entire world is suffering. It's not only India. India is still, though, in terms of the carbon emission, we are the third largest, but the per capita is, as against the world per capita, we are at 2 metric tons per capita per annum, as against the world average of 4 metric tons. So, and now there is a body called COP, and every year they meet entire world, the body, and their agreement, the disagreements, because like it always happen when there's so many parties involved. And the developed country, they expect because the carbon emission is their gain. This is what they have given to the world. But why the underdeveloped and the developing countries like India to take so much of the load? And this is where, because to fight out with the environment, you need a lot of finance and the technology. And this is where the country, they are supposed to contribute, but they are reluctant. They are not agreeing. And whatever the commitment they make, they don't honor it. So this is where the problem lies. So the India has shown its commitment and the forwardness that yes, we care for the environment, and they made so many commitments. All the commitments were listed on the slide in the COP26 in the Glasgow. So one of the first commitment is that India will reach by 2030 with the renewable energy of the 500 gigawatt, which will be 50% of the total energy consumption of the country. And the another commitment was the emission reduction by 45%, and net zero commitment by 2070, as against many other countries, they have given 2050 to 2060. So India seeing it, and they seeing it what all initiatives are required. So a practical the target date has been given of 2070. So the coming to the on the solution side, energy storage, because all the renewable energy, you cannot have the optimum mix and the utilization of the renewable unless you have the storage, the system in the place. And this is where there is a vital role of energy storage, the solution. And it is for the deployment of the multiple energy storage solution which are feasible and which could be implemented. So for the grid stability, because the renewables, you generate the energy at different time, and then it's required at a different, unless you have a storage in place, then how do you deal with it? And they are the load, the variations in the, and there's so much of the fluctuation for the, so the solution of the grid stability, the energy storage system could offer. ESS is the very safe and can make the reliable grid. And they are inherent, the varying the nature, where the ESS is important to handle it with respect to the climate change. Now, I also wanted to mention, on one side, we are working on the technology with the finance and the so much of the solution to fight out the pollution and the climate change. But on other side, what is happening to the world? You look at the war situation. There's so much of the ornament, there's so much of the wastage of the infrastructure, apart from the people loss. It is all adding to the carbon emission. And on one side and it's all human created. So we need to be sensible enough that the world has to understand the solution lies with the peace, what our country, India, has been propagating. So coming to the next, how the battery energy storage system can offer the solution. So of course, as I mentioned, it brings down the variability in the generation of the renewable energy sources. It improves the grid stability. It enables the energy, the peak shifting. The peak shifting is on the peak time you need a different load. Generation time is the different. So with the storage and all, you can manage the demand and the supply position. Of course, it helps in the reduction of the carbon emissions. It brings down the lossage of the electrical system. And of course, it makes the intelligent use of the energy mix. Now coming to the energy storage system, you have a different technologies available to store. The mechanical is one of them, where one of the most important technology, the pumped storage hydro, where at a two different level the water is stored, and with the use of the pumping, the water is taken to the another height, and then the electricity is generated. So that's the one system. And then we have the electromechanical, where the battery system, which we are talking about, be it the lead acid or lithium ion, and the next generation, the cell chemistry which are coming, the be it sodium and others. And then we have the thermal, then electrical, and the chemical. The chemical, they includes the green hydrogen, which is also they're being talked about, and a lot of work is being done. So these are the various technologies on the energy storage. The coming next to which technology for what application. So for grid scale energy storage, the dominant technology is the pump hydro. And coming to pump hydro, we have the capacity of 2.6 gigawatt, and the around 8 to 9 gigawatts are awaiting approvals. Green hydrogen as a technology is for storage, and especially for fuel cell technology for the vehicles, for the long haul, the transportation is getting very famous, and India is also working very hard to implement it. And the choice of the best technology depends on the cost and manufacturing. Of course, it goes equally well for any technology. And the next is a little brief about the BESS. It reduces the charging time because if it has a high charging capacity, it regulates the grid frequency, it performs the peak shaving as I mentioned before, it integrates the EV charging and facilitates EV integration by bolstering the fast charging infrastructure, and it's reliable energy arbitrage. When you produce between the demand and supply, you produce and then maybe sell at a higher rate, so that arbitrage is there. It offers the power backup, and of course it is key to the nation's growth. So coming to lithium ion battery, it is the best form of the energy storage. It is a contemporary medium for energy storage, we all know. It is a reliable choice for the electric mobility. It has a faster recharge capability. It is a preferred technology. It has a longer life span, we all know. Maybe almost more than double than the conventional lead acid. And it has hardly any kind of a maintenance requirement, almost maintenance free. So let's come to the challenges side. And before that, couple of the facts I would like to share, that India imports lithium ion batteries worth 3.6 billion US dollar from the countries like the China, South Korea and Vietnam. As per the ISA, it has estimated 10 plus gigawatt factories with 140 gigawatt capacity. Is already under the plan, and they expect, but though the figure looks doubtful, but yes, this is what they say. And the demand, as I mentioned, is expected to be 500 gigabyte as against hardly any capacity, maybe 30-40 gigawatt capacity available as of now. Government is lending its support in the form of the financing PLI scheme, and they have already come out with a scheme for 30 gigawatt hours and 10 more gigawatt hours cell production. It is under consideration. Government is also working on the safety standards, which is the key requirement. Now coming to the prospects, of course, this will create millions of the jobs, which is something the country like India is looking for. Energy security is the key thing. After the food security, energy security is something which is the key for survival and the growth of any nation. So it helps. So these are the kind of a potential that we have. Many more the potentials as mentioned in the slide. So coming to the scenario side, this market is growing in double digit in last 3 to 4 years, starting from 2021, and we hope that it will grow further with the same or maybe more faster pace in the times to come. The government is committed, and they have undertaken many initiatives and the steps in order to enhance the energy storage capacity. There are many solutions available, and there are many major push in order to bring the technology as well as to bring down the cost of storage. Around 18,000 crore has been committed under the PLI scheme by the government to promote the energy storage and to bring down the cost, so that the transition can be faster and the better. This is what the India battery manufacturing vision. Energy security is the one, resilient grid, and to meet 500 gigawatt of the target, and for e-mobility this is a kind of a must, and to support India digital mission. So the government of India, under this mission, by 2025, the government is planning to raise the capacity to 55 gigawatt hours, by 2030 190, and in 2035 650 gigawatt. Now coming to the challenges, more policy interview. Without policy, the government policy, nothing can move. So the more policy, the government has undertaking this and come out with some of the policies, but highly inadequate. So the government need to work more onto this. So policy interventions are required. There is a complete absence of any effective framework for ESS, so which is holding up the development of ESS sector. The cost competitiveness is something, is the biggest challenge, I would say. So, but with the following, the reduction in the prices, now that the gap between the lead acid and the lithium ion battery has come down drastically. So I think I have another 1 minute to take. So let's talk about the future. We all discussed the new innovative models and the designs are happening. China-driven cost reduction, though we are far away. China is far, means forward, the much ahead of the entire world. But yes, we are working closely on this. And for the energy density and for the higher life cycle, this is the better choice available. So the way forward is the policy framework, as I mentioned. And in order to achieve something, the big, you can't do it all alone. So the power of the partnership, and which is happening with a lot of collaborations happening on the technical, the business and the financial front. And the multidisciplinary expert and the upgradation of the skill is something very important, which is also being worked upon. Now, we as a company, Getson Power, we are highly committed to combat the climate change, and we have offered the many, the very cost-effective, the products which is energy efficient, and some of them, they are on the home solution front. And we have, I will request each one of you to visit our store at B42 in the hall number 1. So we have the new more products about the DG replacement and the mobile charging station, which has been well appreciated by all the visitors. So Getson Power is committed, and we have already taken a leading position on the solar, the battery front, and we are doing very large volume in this particular segment. So Getson Power, your one-stop solution for all your energy storage needs. And thank you for your patience and listening. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mahendra.